There are many islands in the sea near Scotland. This story is about one of these islands. The name of the island is Lana. Lana isn't big, but it's very beautiful. It's very quiet, too. There are no houses or roads or cars on Lana. But there's a castle. The castle is very old. A young Scotsman lives in the castle. The Scotsman's name is Duncan McTavish. Duncan lives in the castle with his dog, Jock. Duncan is very happy on his island. He likes going for walks with Jock. He likes swimming and fishing in his little boat. There are many big rooms in Duncan's castle. They have a lot of old things in them. Pictures and heavy tables, chairs and beds. In winter, the castle is very cold and dark. Duncan puts on a lot of electric lights in all the rooms. One Monday morning in April, Duncan gets a letter. "What's this?" he asks. He opens the letter. It's from the electricity company. Duncan reads, "Electricity from October to March, £5,000. "Oh," Duncan says, "I haven't got £5,000. What can I do?" He's very unhappy. "I can do only one thing, sell my island and my castle." Duncan telephones a man in London. The man's name is Mr. Moneybags. Mr. Moneybags sells houses and castles. "I want to sell my island and my castle," Duncan says. "Okay," Mr. Moneybags says. 2 days later, he telephones Duncan. "Leaping Larry wants to buy your island," he says. "Leaping who?" Duncan asks. "Leaping Larry. You know, the famous American rock star. He wants to buy your island for his girlfriend." "A rock star," Duncan says. "Oh." "He wants to see the island tomorrow afternoon," Mr. Moneybags says. "Is that okay?" Yes," Duncan says. "Yes, of course." Leaping Larry and his girlfriend are coming to the island by helicopter. They're very late. Duncan and Jock wait a long time. Then the helicopter arrives. A tall man with long dark hair gets down from it. He's about 45 years old. There's a girl with him. She's about 20 and has long yellow hair. There's a small animal with her. The animal has long white hair. "Hi," the man says. "I'm Leaping Larry, and this is my girlfriend, Roxanne." "Hi," Roxanne says. "This is my dog, Bobo." Larry looks at the castle. "Look at that old castle, Roxanne," he says. "Don't you love it, honey?" Roxanne doesn't smile. It's only an old castle. Leaping Larry and Roxanne go into the castle. It's very dark. Leaping Larry can't see. He falls down. "Where are the lights?" he asks. "I'm sorry," Duncan says. "There isn't any light. The company stopped my electricity this morning." "I want some hot food," Roxanne says. "I'm sorry," Duncan says, "but I can't make hot food. I haven't got any electricity. But there is some cold food." "Cold food," Roxanne says. "No, thank you. I'm going to bed. But first I want a hot bath. And Bobo wants a bath too." "I'm very sorry," Duncan says. But there's no hot water. No lights, no food, no hot water. Roxanne says. I don't like this place. Now, honey, Leaping Larry says. Don't call me honey, Roxanne says. Let's go, Bobo. Roxanne and Bobo go to bed. Larry and Duncan eat cold food and talk. Jock watches them. Suddenly, Roxanne screams. Duncan, Larry, and Jock run to her room. Roxanne is in bed with Bobo. Honey, what's wrong? Larry asks. There was a noise in the room, Roxanne says. What was it? Duncan starts to smile. Why are you smiling? Roxanne says. She's very angry. Look at Jock, Duncan says. Jock is under the bed. He has a mouse in his mouth. A mouse, Roxanne says. She screams again. In the morning, Duncan and Leaping Larry are waiting. Roxanne and Bobo are late. They get up at 11 o'clock. Good morning, Duncan says. Roxanne doesn't answer. She says to Larry, Larry, I don't like this place. I want to go home. But, honey, Larry says. Don't call me honey, Roxanne says. This castle is old, dark, and very cold. There's no electricity, no food, and no hot water, and I don't like it. Do you understand? Listen, honey, Larry says. We can build a big new house here. Our friends from California can come and stay. Duncan looks at Jock. Jock looks at Dunca. Build a big new house, they think. Oh no, Leaping Larry says. We want to see the island. Okay, Duncan says. We can go in my boat. Duncan, Larry, and Roxanne get into Duncan's boat. Jock gets in too. Bobo is with Roxanne. It's a beautiful day, but Roxanne isn't happy. What do you do all day? She asks Duncan. I go for walks, Duncan says. Sometimes I swim, and sometimes I catch fish. Oh, Roxanne says, that isn't very interesting. Listen, honey, Larry says. We can make the island interesting. I know people with film companies. They can come here and make films, hundreds of films. Duncan looks at Jock. Jock looks at Duncan. Film companies, they think. Oh, no. Duncan is very unhappy. He doesn't want to sell his island and his castle to Larry. He doesn't want film companies or Larry's friends on the island. But what can Duncan do? The electricity company wants £5,000. He has no money. He can't stay in his castle. Duncan, Larry, and Roxanne are all sitting in Duncan's boat. Jock and Bobo are with them. Suddenly, Jock sees a rabbit on the island. Jock loves catching rabbits. He jumps into the sea and starts to swim to the island. Bobo thinks, this is interesting, and he jumps in too. Bobo is in the water, Roxanne screams. Jump into the sea, Larry! Get Bobo! But Larry doesn't move. Why are you waiting? Roxanne says. Jump in! But, honey, Larry says, I can't swim. Can't swim, Roxanne says. She is very angry. Look, Duncan says. Bobo is okay. He's having a good time. Bobo is swimming in the water with Jock, but Roxanne is very angry with Larry. You don't love me, she says. And you don't love me, Larry says. You only love Bobo. You're right, Roxanne says. She stands in the boat and starts to hit Larry. Don't do that, Duncan says. The boat moves. Roxanne falls into the water. She starts to scream. Roxanne is making a lot of noise. Jock sees Roxanne in the water with Bobo. What are they doing? Are they playing a new game? Jock wants to play too. He swims to Bobo. Go away, Roxanne screams. Duncan brings the boat near Roxanne. Roxanne gets into the boat. Then Bobo gets into the boat. Roxanne is very angry. Take me back to California. Now, she says to Larry. Later, Larry, Roxanne, and Bobo get into their helicopter. Goodbye, Duncan says. Larry and Roxanne don't answer. The helicopter goes away. Duncan smiles at Jock. He's very happy. Leaping Larry isn't going to buy our island, he says. That's good. But Duncan has big money problems. Leaping Larry doesn't want to buy the island. But where can Duncan get 5,000 pounds for the electricity company? Later, Duncan telephones Mr. Moneybags in London. Leaping Larry telephoned me, Mr. Moneybags says. He doesn't like your island. He doesn't want to buy it. And I'm not going to sell it for you now. It's your problem. Goodbye. Duncan goes for a long walk with Jock. He's very unhappy. They walk to a place across the island. And there Duncan sees a girl. She's looking at the sea and she's painting a picture. Near her is a small boat. Good afternoon, Duncan says. The girl looks at Duncan. She's beautiful. He likes her. Who are you? She asks. What do you want? I'm Duncan McTavish, Duncan says. I live here. Lana is my island. And this is my dog, Jock. Jock looks at the girl. He likes her too. Lana is your island, the girl says. Oh, I'm Jean Stewart. I'm a teacher. I work in a school across the sea. Today is a holiday and the school is closed. I came here in my boat. I wanted to paint your island. The light is very good and the colors are very beautiful. I can paint good pictures here. Duncan looks at Jean's picture. Yes, he says. Your picture is very good. Thank you, Jean says. Duncan and Jean talk for a long time. Where do you live? Jean asks. I live in a castle, Duncan says. Come and see it. Duncan, Jean, and Jock go to the castle. Your castle is beautiful, Jean says. Yes, Duncan says. But it's very cold and dark. There's no electricity. I have no money. I love my island very much, but I can't make money from it. Jean looks at the castle. Suddenly she says, Yes, you can. How? Duncan asks. People can come here for holidays, Jean says. They can paint pictures of your island. I can teach them. And they can stay in your castle. We can make a lot of money. Duncan looks at Jock. Jock looks at Duncan. You're right, Duncan says. Now McTavish. Painting holidays are very famous. Every year many visitors come to the island, they stay in the castle, they go for walks and paint beautiful pictures. They take their pictures back to their homes. The rooms in the castle aren't cold and dark now. Duncan and Jean have a lot of money. There is no problem with the electricity company. And Jean makes very good food. The visitors are very happy. Duncan and Jean are married now. They have 2 children, a boy and a girl. Jock loves playing with the children. Duncan often sits in his little boat. Sometimes he catches a fish, but usually he sleeps. He's a happy man. The end. The Housewife Spy. "We want you to go to France as a spy," the man said calmly. Odette could not believe her ears. A spy? Her? Was this man crazy? Odette was born in Amiens, in the north of France, in 1912. During World War I, her mother helped the fight against Germany by offering rooms in her home to British soldiers. Little Odette loved playing with the soldiers. They spoke strangely, but they were friendly and interesting. She loved their stories about England. When Odette later married an Englishman, her mother was not surprised. After a short time in France, Odette and her husband moved to England in 1931. In 1939, German soldiers attacked Poland and World War II began. 1 year later, Germans moved into France and started a new government there. Odette's heart was broken. She remembered the proud people of Amiens in World War I. They fought hard for France's freedom, but now it was lost. Odette knew that she wanted to help, but she was only a housewife. What could she do? In the early 1940s, more and more countries joined the war. Around the world, people were fighting and dying. Odette listened to the radio news sadly, and then her heart stopped. The British government wanted pictures of French beaches, her old vacation photos. At last, she could really help. When the British Secret Service saw Odette's photos, they immediately became interested in this young French woman. She knew a lot about the north of France. Maybe she had some more useful information, or maybe she could help in another way. Was she smart? Was she brave? Did she want to help Britain and France? They decided to invite Odette to their offices in London. Soon Odette was traveling toward a future that she could not imagine in her wildest dreams. "We want you to go to France as a spy," the man said calmly. Odette could not believe her ears. A spy? Her? Was this man crazy? "I'm only a housewife," she replied quietly. "I have 3 young daughters and a loving husband. They need me. I'm sorry." But as Odette listened to her own voice, she knew. She knew that her country needed her more. The room was quiet. The calm man sat silently behind his desk, waiting. Odette thought of her family and her home. Her heart ached as she spoke. "I'll help in any way I can. What do I need to do?" Odette began her lonely life of secrets and lies immediately. She lied to her family. She wanted to be a war nurse, she told them. She smiled kindly as she kissed her daughters and husband goodbye. But inside, her heart was breaking. "Will I ever see you again?" she thought. The Secret Service gave Odette new French clothes, a French hairstyle, even a new French wedding ring. Odette's comfortable British life ended, and her dangerous life as a spy began. In November 1942, Odette started her work in Cannes, in the south of France. She looked and spoke like an ordinary Frenchwoman. But really, she was working closely with a British spy, Peter Churchill, passing money to the French resistance. Odette learned quickly. She started more and more dangerous work. She found safe houses for other spies to hide in. She also found new secret places where British airplanes could drop guns and equipment. If spies are caught during a war, they are almost always killed immediately. Every word, every look, every thought was dangerous for Odette. On April 16, 1943, Odette and Peter were caught by German police and questioned about their work. "This is the end," thought Odette. "The Germans will kill us." But then she had an idea. It was a dangerous plan, but it was their only hope. "Don't kill Peter, kill me," she said. "Peter is my husband. He doesn't work for the resistance. He's only here for me." Did the Germans believe her? Odette thought quickly. She needed a better lie, a lie to save their lives. "Peter's uncle is the most important man in Britain. You'll die if you kill him." The Germans looked carefully at their reports. Who was this unusual woman, and who was Peter Churchill? Churchill, they could not kill this man. His uncle was Winston Churchill, the head of the British government. "Take them away," the German officer ordered. "Get every piece of information from them. Do everything that is necessary." When burning metal first touched her skin, Odette cried inside with pain, but her reply was always the same. "I have nothing to say." The cold, handsome man looked deeply into Odette's eyes. Then, slowly and calmly, he pulled out her toenails. Odette did not make a sound. She was weak from pain, but she was proud. Her silence was saving lives across France. A few days later, Odette's future was decided. Her eyes moved around the courtroom slowly. It was a beautiful, clean room, and the sun shone brightly through the large windows. She could hear the noise of busy Paris life outside. But it seemed like a dream to her. Her feet were very painful and her body was weak, but Odette sat up straight and looked proudly into the officer's eyes. "The court has decided that you must die," the German officer explained in bad French. "You are a British spy and you work for the French resistance. Return to your prison room and wait." Days, weeks, and months passed. Each time the guards came to her prison room, death was possible. But Odette did not stop hoping. It seemed that her lie about Winston Churchill was working. Every night she imagined that she kissed her daughters. "I love you," she told them softly. In May 1944, Odette was moved to Ravensbrück in the north of Germany. Here, hundreds of weak prisoners moved slowly between the long lines of simple buildings. Their bodies were thin, their heads were shaven, and there was complete hopelessness in their eyes. At Ravensbrück, the prisoners worked until they died. Every morning, the dead bodies were burned and the work continued. But someone had different plans for Odette in this terrible place. Fritz Sören, the boss of Ravensbrück, was a cold, selfish man. He knew about Odette. He knew that she was special, but he did not trust her. He kept Odette alone and in complete darkness for months. But Odette knew how to stay hopeful. She imagined her family again, and in her mind she chose beautiful, colorful cloth and made pretty dresses for each of her daughters. By now the Americans were in Germany and the war was almost at an end. On April 28, 1945, Søren visited Odette. "We are leaving today," he told her. He pushed her into a van with a few other prisoners. Through the window, Odette could see German guards running and cars and vans driving away quickly. She could not believe her eyes. "Will I live to go free?" she thought. After 4 days of driving, a guard opened the van doors. He pulled Odette from the van and pushed her into Søren's car. "Why does he only want we?" she asked herself. She kept quiet and watched the road racing past outside. Odette knew that Søren wanted to kill her, but hundreds of people were still alive because of her silence. She prepared for a proud death. At 10 p.m. that night, Søren drove Odette to a small town. "I'm giving you to the Americans," he explained. Odette could not believe her ears. Was this a joke? But Søren's face was serious. He thought that Odette was an important person. He wanted her to speak kindly of him after the war. "This is Mrs. Churchill," Søren explained to an American officer. "She is a relative of Winston Churchill." Without looking at Odette, he dropped his gun. Then he turned slowly and was taken by some soldiers toward his prison room. Odette looked around at the little town, the friendly faces of the American soldiers, and Søren's empty car by the side of the road. Was this a dream? Was she really alive? Was she really free? Back in England, Odette fell into her husband's arms and cried happily. After years of fear and pain, her family was together again. Her daughters kissed and held their brave mother. "You look more beautiful than ever," she told them. "Your love gave me hope and kept me alive." In 1946, Odette received one of the most important British medals for her great courage. "This is not for me," she said. "It's for all the French resistance workers in the war." Odette's brave actions saved thousands of French and British people. She loved her family, but she chose a dangerous and lonely life and helped others. Our lives today are shaped by women like Odette. We learn more about our present and our future when we remember their past courage. The end. Once there was a bad and jealous queen. She had a kind and beautiful daughter. Many princes from many countries wanted to marry the princess. The queen said to each prince, "Before you marry my daughter, you have to do something for me." And then she gave him an impossible job. When he couldn't do it, she said, "Now you will die." and her woodcutter cut off his head. "You will never marry," she said to her unhappy daughter, and she laughed. Prince Charles was the son of a poor king in a small country. He heard about the beautiful princess. He said to his father, "I want to marry her." "Never," cried the king. "The queen will kill you. You are my only son. I cannot lose you. There are hundreds of beautiful women in the world. You don't have to marry this one." But the prince was very sad. He couldn't eat, he couldn't sleep. In the end, his father said, "Go, then go to the princess. I hope you will do better than the other princess. I hope I will see you again." The prince was very excited, and he danced around his rooms. He ate a lot of food and got strong again. Then he began his journey. He had no servants because his father was poor. "I'll find servants on the way," he said. After a short time, the prince saw a small mountain. "What is that mountain?" He thought it wasn't there before. He went nearer. It wasn't a mountain. It was a very fat man on his back asleep. The prince went near him, and the fat man woke up. "What are you doing here?" "Fat man?" asked the prince. "I was asleep," said Fat Man, "and now I am not asleep, because of you." "Why were you asleep?" "Because I had some food this morning. Now I want my lunch." "What did you eat this morning?" asked the prince. 10 chickens and 100 cakes," said Fat Man. "Will you be my servant?" asked the prince. "Give me food," said the fat man, "and I will do anything for you." So the fat man followed the prince. A short time later, on their journey, they found another man. His head was down and his left ear was on the ground. He looked up. His left ear was very large. "What are you doing, Big Ear?" asked the prince. "I am listening," said Big Ear. "The flowers are opening. The birds are singing in a country over the sea. I can hear them." "What can you hear in the house of the beautiful princess?" asked the prince. "People are crying. Another prince is dead. Will you be my servant?" Big Ear. "Yes," said Big Ear. "I will a short time after that." They saw 2 long things by the road. "What are they?" Trees, said Fat Man. They went nearer. "They're not trees," said Big Ear. "They're arms, the longest arms in the world." A little later, they saw the man's head. "You are a very long person," said the prince. "I can be longer than this," said Long Arms. "Come with me, Long Arms," said the prince. "Be my servant." So Long Arms followed the prince. Next, they saw a man with a hand over one eye. "Is there something in your eye?" asked the prince. "No," said the man. "I can see a long way. I can see through things. Buildings, mountains, water. When something is near me, I have to put my hand over one eye. Then I can see it. Come with me." "Quick eyes," said the prince, "and be my servant." And Quick Eyes followed the prince. They went on their journey, and the sun got very hot. The prince opened his coat. They came to a man by the road. He wore 2 thick coats and a large hat. They could not see his face. He said, "I am cold, cold, and cold." "Why are you cold?" Cold man? Asked the prince. The sun is very hot, and our coats and shirts are open. We are hot. When I open my coat, answered Cold Man, the sun disappears. It snows. Everything dies of cold. Come with me, said the prince, and be my servant. But please don't open your coat. Cold Man went with the prince. Prince Charles and his servants arrived at the city, and the prince went to the queen. I want to marry the princess, he said. What do I have to do? The queen answered. You will have to do 3 things. Do them well. Then you can marry the princess. What is the first thing? Asked the prince. I have a beautiful blue jewel. Yesterday, it fell into the river. Bring me the jewel before the sun goes down. The prince went back to his servants. How can we find the jewel? He asked them. Quick Eyes took his hand from his eye. I will look for it. He went to the river. There it is over there. I can't see it, said Long Arms. Then Fat Man opened his mouth and drank the water in the river a short time later. The river was dry. Long Arms got the jewel and gave it to the prince. The queen was very angry when she saw the jewel. Then she said, Tomorrow I will give this prince a very difficult job. She thought hard. She did not sleep that night. The next morning, the prince woke up early. He went to the queen again. You are hungry after your long journey, she said with a cold smile. I have 30 chickens outside. Eat them before 12 o'clock. I do not want to find 1 chicken leg. Can I invite a friend? The prince asked. I do not like eating without a friend. You can ask 1 friend, said the queen. The prince left. He will die this afternoon, she said to her daughter, and she laughed. The prince went back to his friends. Come with me, Fat Man. He said Fat Man quickly ate the 30 chickens. Then he ate the queen's other animals, the bread in the kitchens, the fruit on the trees, and the vegetables in the ground. Now what can I eat? Asked Fat Man. There was nothing there. So he went to sleep. At 12 o'clock, the queen called for her lunch. She waited and waited, but no food came. She went to see the cook. Whereas my lunch? She asked. A fat man ate everything in the gardens and everything in the kitchens. There is no food. The queen got angrier and angrier. Then she thought of a plan. Ha ha! She laughed. Now I will catch him. The prince came to her on the 3rd day. Will you eat with me tonight? She asked with a lovely smile. And after that, would you like to sit with the princess for 2 hours? Yes, answered the prince. I would love that. You will not fall asleep. When you are talking to the princess? Asked the queen. Fall asleep, cried the prince. Never. When a person falls asleep with the princess, said the queen, the princess disappears by magic. Then that person dies. The prince put on his most beautiful clothes. He ate with the queen. Their conversation was very cold. Servants brought wonderful food and wonderful drinks. When the prince turned away for a minute, the queen quickly put something into his glass of wine. The prince did not see. He drank the wine. Then the queen took him to the princess. They climbed up many stairs to a high room. The princess sat sadly by the window. The red light of the evening sun lit up her beautiful face. The river below the flowers round the window and her dress were the same color. The prince sat near the princess. They were very happy for a short time, but the princess' eyes suddenly felt heavy. He started to fall asleep. He couldn't hear the princess's words. His eyes shut. He was asleep. Half an hour later, he opened his eyes again. The princess wasn't there. He looked everywhere in the room, but he couldn't find her. He ran to the window and looked out. He saw big air below. He called to him. "The princess isn't here. We have to find her in the next hour." Long Arms brought the prince down to the ground. "Where is the princess? Can you hear her big ear?" Big Ear put his ear to the ground. "Yes," he said, "I can hear her. She is calling. She says that she is across the river. She is inside a tree. Her mother's men put her there." Quick Eyes looked. "Yes," he said, "I can see her. But how can we get her?" cried the prince. "I have an idea," said Cold Man, and he opened his coat. Snow fell. Everything went white. Cold Man jumped into the river, and the water was ice. They ran across the ice and brought the princess back. Long Arms put the prince and princess back through the window into the high room. They sat down and the door opened. The queen came in. She could not speak when she saw the princess. She gave them a cold smile. "We are having a very interesting conversation," said the prince. "We are talking about trees and rivers." "Come with me," said the queen. "It is night. Your bedroom is ready. Your servants can sleep there." To the prince said good night to the princess, and he and his servants followed the queen. She took them to a big room. Ween shut the door. She ran to the cook and said, "Make a great fire under their room." After a short time, the room got very hot. The prince went to the door, but he couldn't open it. "I can hear a great fire below you," said Big Ear. "This is wonderful," said Cold Man. "I feel really warm for the first time in my life." "Open your coat, Cold Man," said the prince. When Cold Man opened his coat, the room got colder again. "That's better," they said. The queen listened at the door. She heard them. She ran to the cook and said, "Make the fire hotter." Cold Man smiled. "I am warm again," he said. "They are cooking us," said the other servants. "Take off your coat," said the prince. The prince took Cold Man's coat away. "I am too cold," said Cold Man. "Please give me back my coat." Snow fell in the room. The prince could not speak because he was too cold. Fat Man cried. There was ice in his hair. The queen came to the door. She listened nothing. "They are dead now." She said she opened the door. The prince and his servants ran out of the room. "Let's go and sit by a fire," said the prince. "My face and hands are blue with cold." The queen could not win. She knew that now. So she left the country. The princess married the prince, and they lived happily, and the good servants lived with them. The voiceover in this video is given by Prime English Stories. Copying or re-uploading is totally forbidden.